is it? Oh, yeah. Great. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, I'm not going to share my screen yet because it's not ready. 1 second. Oh, Clarissa, did you want to go through the Zoom guide? Or is that not necessary anymore?
I think we're okay. We're good to go for now.
Okay, so let's go here. Share my
I will
screen.
say just to keep bandwidth while she's getting that started, bandwidth like at the maximum, make sure you have any background programs closed. And yeah, just it helps if you just have Zoom open for now. And it limits your distraction while we stay focused for today's workshop.
Okay, building your network. It's more about farming than hunting. I really believe that building the network takes some time, and there are some things that you can do to help grow the network that you need, whether it's for your career, for your business, or for any other reason. My name is Shay. I'm from New York. I have been living in the Netherlands for close to 15 years. I'm married to a Dutch guy. I have a bunch of kids. You only see two of them here because not everybody wants their mom posting pictures of them. Um, uh, I also do speaking. I'm also a coach. I help people with who want to start their own business, and I give them some business coaching and some support and advice. I started my career pretty early on, trying to sell, not trying to sell, I was selling mutual funds and insurance. And my goal was to one day be on the New York State Stock Exchange, where I was going to buy and sell on the trading floor. So I started off in selling mutual funds and insurance. I then went into human resources, where I did recruitment and um, compensation and talent management and everything within HR. I did that until 9/11. The world changed for the first time for me. Now it's the second time with Corona. And I went to law school, and I thought I wanted to champion the little person and help people get a fair shake in our legal system in the States. And then we moved here to the Netherlands, and I had to start all over, and I went back to HR. Um, I wanted to say my experience with networking really started off when I was doing selling mutual funds and insurance. The company that I worked with, their way of showing you how to network or how to build up your client base was through referrals. So it was very important building relationships and having those people introduce you to other people so they in turn could become clients. It was a much easier way to get clients than the normal cold calling. And I've used that principle in any networking, whether it was for a job or for my business. And I'm going to try to share some of those tips with you today. I want to start off with the who, what, and how. First, who do you network with? It could be a decision maker, managers, it could be influencers, human resource representatives, or professionals. Those are the people you think that you might want to get in touch with. You also want to get in touch with anyone who has the job that you want, works with the clients you want to have, or works in the industry that you want to be a part of. And what? So what are you actually doing when you're networking? And it's connecting. It's you're sharing a piece of your story, and you're listening into someone else's story about what they're doing and about who they are. And it's important to understand the reason that you're there isn't just for what you're trying to gain out of it, but also being a listening ear for someone else. It's part of a building a relationship. Now, how? how you do this, it's the story that you tell. And I have this guy here in a suitcase looking like Harry Potter, or I don't know if any of you watched the Harry Potter. If you watched Harry Potter, give me a thumbs up if you know it. I'll see some of the thumbs up here. Oh, good, thank God. So that's really storytelling, but how you tell that story is very important. There are definitely some elements that you want to have in there. Tell about the situation and tell about the tactic that you use to solve a solution and obviously the results. There are many different frameworks for telling a story. There's a hero version, but I feel like the one that stands out most when you're looking for a job or for clients is the STAR method. And that is a situation, task, actions, and results. Um, I will give you an example of using the STAR method. This is one that I use when I'm networking because I want people to know that actually, I won't tell you what I want them to know. You'll tell me. Sorry. So I worked on this project as a communications expert, and the idea was they had a tech program that they were changing their technology and their systems. It is a very boring program. It is a very complicated program, and it was very hard to get people engaged because a lot of employees felt that implementing this program would ultimately, for some of them, ultimately make their role redundant. So it wasn't a program that people were excited about. My job for that was to create some excitement around it, to get people engaged. And I would joke around with the manager, how am I going to make this sexy? Because this is not a sexy program. Nobody cares about this. So what I did was I created a trailer movie. So like a trailer about the program. And within the trailer, I left in all the bloopers. I left in all the mistakes that we made, people falling, knocking into the wall, knocking over the camera, laughing. And I put that throughout the trailer and we sent it out. And the actors in the trailer, or the actors, were actually people on the program team. We sent that out, and the community loved it. The employees loved it. The teams loved it because it made something that was boring and stale a little bit more fun and lively. It made the people who were on the program a bit more human and more relatable because it was the relationships at that point were just the people on the program team telling others what to do, and the other teams having to make changes that didn't always feel comfortable. And now, as a result of that, the people on the program seemed more relatable. They were falling over. They were knocking over lamps. They were tripping over themselves. They were laughing. They were messing up their lines. The whole thing. It was great. So that's what I did to solve the problem for that client. Now, if you're in the group now, as I told that story, can you see me as a problem solver? Please give me a thumbs up if you got that from my story. No one? Oh, okay. It's a bad story then. I might have to rethink that story. Cool. Um, Farming tips. So we talked about uh, farming. Networking is farming, not hunting. First tip is which seeds to plant. So you want to pick one thing that you want people to know about you, and what you will hope that they get out of what your personality or what you bring to the table. If there is more than one thing that you want to share, that's fine, but always have that one thing because you never know how long the conversation is going to be. It might be 5 minutes, it might be 30 minutes. You don't know if you'll be competing with other people to have a conversation, but at least always have in the back of your mind that before I walk away from this person, they will know X. Planting the seed. So, in order to even get your seed out there or um, um, to build that relationship, You need to ask that other person more about them and find some questions about, or ask them some questions about their life, about their work, mix it up a little. You want to ask more questions than before you give answers about who you are, because when it's time for you to talk, you want to find ways to connect, things that you have in common, because those are things that you want to talk about. People will help you more if they feel like they have more in common with you. And so it's imperative that the first part of meeting someone is to kind of interview them and ask them questions so you can find out more about them. I also put something about taking notes. If possible, I try to take notes because later on I may want to send them information, some inspiration, or I may want to find out I can help them with something that they mentioned while we were talking. So nurturing, this is where the information, inspiration, and support come in. I like to follow up with people that I meet as much as I can. I don't follow up with everyone. That's a lot of work, but I try to follow up with the people that I feel that I can help or I can support or I can inspire, especially if we clicked. So that's how I nurture the relationships that I'm building. And harvesting. So harvesting for me is when you're ready to ask for help. Um, I think it's always important that when you're asking someone for help that you are very specific about what you need and specific about how they personally can help you get what you want. This is, you can almost recognize this when someone asks you for help and the question is very broad. It's hard for someone to help you if you say something like, I just want to find a job. They'll want to know, well, how do I help you find a job? Unless they're managing a hiring manager or HR person, even then, it puts a lot of pressure on them to give you that ask. It's a big ask, but what you can ask for is, I need information about your industry. I need information about how you do your job. I could use some help breaking into this company or what have you. Those can be really specific. It's more helpful for them so they can help you. Thanks, Vivian. So if you're listening to all this and you're like, okay, that sounds great, Shay, but how do I do this faster? This sounds like you're going to make me do this farming. It sounds like it's going to take weeks and months, forever. I need clients now. I need a job now. I get that. Totally understand. This is our current situation. We're at home, we're in a laptop, on our laptop, hopefully not in the dark. This poor girl, her eyes are going to go bad. I don't know what's happening there. Start with who you know. So I always like to start with friends and family circle first. And if you're not from here, you don't necessarily have family here, but you do have friends, and you might have friends from, when you first landed, someone that you knew, someone from a previous job, someone that you met at a party. You might know some, even if you just know one person, start with that one person. Go for virtual coffees. I've been going for virtual coffees, trying to connect with people that I knew and that I didn't know before. And it's great. We get to both meet online, and it's something we could start doing now. We don't have to wait until Corona's over. Share your story. Sorry. Hold on a second. Hold on. It's not Corona, it's just a cough. It's a dry cough. No Corona. Share your story. So basically, I don't even know if you guys laughed. Was that funny? I thought that was funny. Share your story. So tell that person that you're talking to a little bit about yourself, what your situation is, and depending on how close you are, you might be able to tell a little bit more. But if it's not someone that you're very close to, you get to tailor your story the way you want to and present yourself in the way that you want to be seen. So this is your chance to do that. The other thing is to ask them to introduce you to someone else. This is the most important thing about building a network very quickly. Every time you meet with someone, the last thing you should say to them is, this was a great meeting. I'm really excited about what we talked about. Is there anyone else that you can introduce me to in your field, in your company, in your industry? Because I'd like to gather as much information as possible. You just never know who they can connect you to that person might be the one to be your client, to give you a new job, to expand your network in ways that you haven't had before. And every time you meet with someone, that should be the last thing you ask for. Okay, so how do I approach people I do not know? Don't. Don't do that. It's weird. Don't approach strangers and say, please give me a job. That's just weird. Always go to people that you already know and ask them to introduce you to other people. And you could do this through LinkedIn as well. LinkedIn has that second degree, and then you can ask someone that you find out who you know or who you know that knows them, and then ask if they can introduce you and let them know, can you introduce me to this person because they work in my field, they work in my industry, they work in the company, and I'd like to gain more information. People are very willing to help you when it's just information. The bigger ask is, can you give me a job? That's a really big ask. But if you give them a small thing that they can actually do that doesn't cost them, it's much easier for them to say yes. Oh, it's breakout group time. Oh my God. Did I finish? Oh, how are we on time? Am I good on time? I'm so excited. Yay. Okay. So we're going to put you in rooms of about 3 to 4 people. The first thing you need to do is make an introduction of yourself. Keep it short and sweet. You have about a minute. In your introduction, you should say your name, where you're from, and why you want to build a network. We're going to do this 2 times. So you're going to potentially meet 4 new people and get a chance to say this again. Give everyone a chance to speak. Try to police yourself. If you know that you can tell long stories, just try to hold back a little bit. It's a short amount of time and everyone should get a chance to talk. And if you find someone is talking too much, just give a gentle reminder if it's at all necessary. You don't need to have any leaders in the group, but someone does have to be the first person to speak. But that doesn't mean that they're the leader. Be kind to yourself, be kind to each other. You're not going to say the perfect thing all the time, and neither is anyone else. So be kind to yourself and be kind to them and give everyone a break. We'll help you keep track of the time with a reminder, and we'll broadcast the questions in the group. So after the introduction for this first group breakout, this is the question that you'll be discussing. What is your biggest challenge with networking? So what's holding you back? What is stopping you from building the network that you want? And if you say it's because I don't know anyone, everyone, by the time we're done here, you'll know someone now. So what is the next biggest challenge then? Okay, Clarissa, if you would mind.
Yeah, so I'm going to stop recording then right now.
Yep.
Okay.